our next guest is very busy and has been busy all year. And I want as much time to talk to her as possible. She is the Minister of Finance, the Deputy Leader of the National Party, Nicola Willis, who joins us by phone now. Minister, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Sean. Great to be on the show.
Look, I want to start off just with something not strictly, I guess, finance ministry and related to, because I feel, to be honest, personally, that we here at the platform didn't give this story in some ways the coverage it deserved. But the death of Nicola Willis, who I know was a caucus colleague, Nicky K, I was didn't mean to put you in the grave. The death of Nicky K, incredibly sad, but she was a caucus colleague and friend of yours, and I remarked at the time she was an unusual politician in that everyone seemed to like her, and she was totally in it for the right reasons and got out for the right reasons.
That's right, Sean. We really lost a very, very special person. She was someone who fought very hard for her values and was earnest in her pursuit of them. But she always strove to work across the parliamentary divide if she possibly could to build support for an issue or a cause or a person that she was fighting for. She fought hard at an electorate level for her constituents. She took that really seriously. And she was brave. She was really brave in pursuit of the things she believed in. And what's become so obvious over these past few days since her passing is the number of lives that she touched. You know, I was one of those people that she encouraged to enter politics, who supported me significantly. And there were so many people like me who she mentored, who she role modelled for, and she really made a difference to a huge number of people. And that's ultimately the purpose of being a politician. She did a really good job of it.
I could not agree more, and thank you for that tribute to her. I smiled when I saw and had quite real conversations with her. As you know, up on the hill, that's not always the case. All right.
Yeah, she was authentic. She was 100% Nicky K, and that's the best we can be.
All right, down to, well, not the tough stuff, the work stuff. You've had a year with your hands on the purse strings. I first want, in a very general way, you want to rate your performance out of 10?
I don't get into that because it's always for others to judge. It's not for me to judge. What I can say is that this year I've got up every day and done my absolute best. I'm proud of the decisions that our government has made. And while we haven't fixed everything overnight, we've made really good progress in terms of getting inflation back under control, which means cost of living pressures are easing. Making sure that we've created an environment where interest rates can drop, making it easier for a lot of mortgage holders and small businesses. And we're able to look ahead and say, having got fiscally neutral tax relief out the door, we're now looking ahead to a year of growth. And that means that opportunities and jobs will follow. So a huge amount more work to do, Sean, but we're on the right track.
An incredibly tough year in me talking to businesses I know. I think the catch cry that was going around was try to survive till 25, and a very hard winter for a lot of businesses, and many businesses have gone under. Was it tougher than you expected, or did you always expect that period of pain, which we're not quite out of yet?
Well, we knew it would be a tough year because the rules of economic gravity are very difficult to escape, and that is when you have an inflation spike as long, as high and sustained as it was, with the last government really letting inflation get out of control. The Reserve Bank really had no choice but to ratchet up those interest rates. And they did that intentionally. You'll recall the Reserve Bank governor some time ago saying that to some extent he was trying to engineer a recession. And we've had that. And that really hurts. You know, for small businesses, it means fewer people coming through the door. Often it means they need to let people go. For New Zealanders, it means their household budgets have been really stretched. There's been uncertainty. So it has been a tough year. We knew that it was forecast to be so, but that doesn't make it any easier for the people who've been affected. And it is why we are so focused on rebuilding the economy. You know, that's not a nice to have. That is the foundation for the things we want, because only with a growing economy can we truly offer New Zealanders secure, good-paying jobs and have the money available to invest in the things we care about, whether it's schools, whether it's police, whether it's our hospitals.
There's no one-hit wonder when you're running an economy, and there's no silver bullet, even though I think often journalists look for it and the public looks for, I don't know, the New Deal or whatever, or a chicken in every oven. And it is many, many levers that a finance minister has to pull and manipulate, and some things completely out of your control that affect the economy. But if you were to look at one policy in the year that you are proudest of, or you think has made in that absolute galaxy of things you can do the biggest difference, what would it be?
Can I just say that's a really good insight you've given, which is we do often look for what is the one big thing we can do to rescue this economic situation. And unfortunately, the reality of strengthening the economy is about multiple things across multiple areas of government policy and regulation. You have to be working hard on all fronts. It's dry, it's consistent, but it's not one big thing. But this year, one thing that we did that I am proud of is we finally adjusted New Zealanders' tax levels, having been taxed increasingly more by stealth under the last government as inflation pushed people into higher tax brackets. We were able to offer a modest amount of tax relief while at the same time getting out the door $23 billion worth of sustainable savings in the government accounts. And that was quite a thing to achieve, tax reduction while also trimming back some of the ill-disciplined and wasteful spending that had built up under the last government. So that set a good foundation. As I say, huge amount more work to do. I want to see more opportunities for Kiwis. I want to see our books in better shape. I want to see the economy growing faster. And we're very focused on that as a cabinet.
Look, in many ways, I think one of the biggest fights you've had this year has been with public service unions, who have not liked your attitude towards, and I'll just name a couple of things, and I name them not as facts, but how they've been represented, telling public servants are willing to get off their asses and get back to work, saying you're going to cut waste, getting rid of the consultants from the public service. That's been very much focused upon as that's mean Nicola Willis, the mean finance minister. Do you resile or think you could have handled that any different?
No, I did what our party campaigned on doing, which was that we laid out the fact that the number of public servants and public agencies had increased by almost 30% in just 5 years, and yet just about every New Zealander I spoke to on the campaign trail said to me, well, what have I got for that? Because actually my children aren't learning more at school, people are waiting longer for surgery, there's more violent crime. What is the government doing if it's just hiring people and not delivering results? So we've brought a real focus to the public service about driving value for every dollar they spend on your behalf. We've brought a focus to reducing the gravy train of consultants and contractors that had built up. We've had real success there. And we've also brought a clear accountability back, which is here are our targets, drive towards them. If you're doing additional activity that's interesting to you but not relevant to New Zealanders, put that on the back burner. So, look, I acknowledge job losses are very difficult. They have been grossly exaggerated in the media. A number of the roles that were disestablished were actually vacancies. What we found was a practice across many government agencies where they were holding hundreds of jobs open, even though there weren't people in them. And that had the effect of padding the bottom line of those agencies so they were able to make more discretionary choices about what they did with money. I think that discretionary choice should sit with ministers and not unaccountable public servants. And so, look, the work that we've done is about getting things back into a more neutral territory after years of expansive growth with very little delivery.